Welcome back to Vintage Family Recipes. The school year has kicked off and things are finally starting to get back under control here. So I'm back for another video. Tonight I'm going to make yellow cake. This was actually my great grandmother's recipe. It was my grandfather's mom's, and then my grandmother thankfully took it from what my grandmother had written and she converted it into something that I could do today and understand and not have to try to figure out how it was baked in the 1860s or 1870s. So that's what I'm going to make tonight. And as you can tell, I've already done a lot of pre-measuring and a lot of prep work so that you don't have to watch me do that. The first thing I do need to tackle is creaming the butter. So I'm going to very quickly cream my butter. I creamed 2/3 cup. Next, I add 3/4 cup of sugar. And I'm going to cream this for about 4 minutes so it's really light and fluffy. Add your 2 eggs. Cream again. Scrape down the sides of your bowl. I can just picture my great-grandmother making this in the 1800s. And she would have had to do all of this by hand. I was going to at first, and then I looked at the clock and went, not tonight, I'm not. Tonight, I'll be using my mixer. The next steps are pretty traditional for any type of cake. It's the mixture of my flour, which is 3 cups, and I used the fine pastry flour. If you don't want to buy pastry flour and you're just using all-purpose, I suggest that you sift the flour before you use it. But it's 3 cups of flour. It's 1 teaspoon of salt and 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder. I'll scrape down the sides again. My milk is 1.5 cups of milk, and then I added my 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla into the milk. Add a little bit of the milk and vanilla mixture. Mix it nice and slow to start, so hopefully it doesn't splash. I've set my oven to 350 degrees so that it will preheat while I finish up this last piece of the mixture. And I will pour the milk on at the same time. I'm going to be safe. Scrape off the blades, scrape down the side of the bowl. I have greased and parchment papered 2 9-inch pans. The one thing my grandmother didn't tell me was size. So I'm going with 9-inch instead of 8-inch. The other thing is hers just said to grease. I decided to put down parchment paper. We'll see if I regret it. Just make sure it's all mixed at the very bottom one last time. Yes, I think the 9-inch pans were a wise choice. My oven is almost ready. Getting this cake in the oven has taken me about 20 minutes. So getting the cake out and in the oven does not take very long. It goes together fairly quickly. And as I said before, it bakes for between 30 and 35 minutes. An hour pretty much to mix and bake, and then you have to let it cool before you put the frosting on. And when you do frosting, the longer you let the cake cool, the less crumbs you will have when you put the frosting on the cake. Slide the cake in. There we go. The cakes are finished. Now that it's cooled for a while in the pan, I'm going to go around the edges and I'm going to pop it each layer out of the pan. We're back, and I'm going to go ahead and put the frosting on the cake. It's been sitting in the refrigerator for a little bit. I did not make this specifically for the cake. I made a strawberry cake the other day and I made too much frosting. So I saved it. Therefore, I can use it today. I did, because I kept it in the refrigerator because it used heavy cream, I did put it in a little bit of warm water to just warm up the frosting a little bit so that it would spread easier. There's the first layer. I'll unwrap my second layer. There we go. Oops. Sides will not look as pretty because if you watched the beginning of the video, you saw that it did not come out of the pan cleanly. If I was giving this away, I would have remade the cake. But since it's my family that's eating it, they're okay if the sides are not perfect.
What if I'm not?
What if you're not?
Yeah, what if I'm not okay with it not being perfect?
Well, then you won't eat it.
Oh.
Or you can close your eyes when you eat it and you won't notice. And there is the cake. I'm just going to cut you a little piece.
Mm-hmm. Little piece.
That is a little piece. You don't have to eat all of it if you're not hungry.
Maybe I will eat all of it,
Then-
just to spite you. Maybe I'll eat the whole cake and explode.
Okay.
It's a strawberry cake.
No, it's a vanilla cake with strawberry frosting.
It's a strawberry cake.
Is the cake moist?
I can tell it's been a couple days.
Okay. Yeah, because we made it on Friday evening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like, it's not stale, but I think it would have been moister if this had been Friday evening.
Right.
Like, I can tell that it has been sitting for
2 days.
40-ish hours.
Okay.
The strawberry is much more powerful than the vanilla.
Is it?
Mhm.
Okay.
It's very reminiscent of when you would bake cakes for us when we were kids.
Okay.
Except those would be like vanilla or chocolate or something, I think.
Yeah. I usually did the yellow cake with chocolate frosting or a chocolate cake with chocolate frosting.
Yeah, when I was a kid, like this specifically was what a cake was. Nothing else was a cake.
This is easy.
Yes, it's good.
Okay. Thanks for watching. Join us next time on Vintage Family Recipes. Oh, and if you haven't yet, please hit the like button, leave us a comment, subscribe. Have a good night.
Next time.
Next time.